Alright, let's just address this Joel Embiid business real quick. And honestly, not just Joel Embiid. He's the main topic of conversation. I saw these posts going around like, who's the biggest snub? Guys, if we're thinking of a player that didn't make the All-Star starters that should have, I love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Everybody does. Hard not to. But to put this guy ahead of one of Steph Curry or Luka Doncic, it's insane. You think they're going to let Steph or Luka not be a starter? I mean, even Ja Morant was probably going to get the nod here ahead of SGA. And maybe that's not the correct call, but we're talking about starters. We're talking about who's representing the league, faces of the league. Like, you can't look any further than Luka or Steph. We know it's a popularity contest to an extent. So is there anything wrong with these teams? Like Joel Embiid, crazy to think that 10 players would be selected to be all-star starters. He wouldn't be one of them. But in reality, he just has the toughest competition in his position. 3 MVP candidates also happen to be front court players in the Eastern Conference. So this is just the way that the NBA does this. We're going to get to a point where the all-star starters will be positionless. This is a great reason for that by itself. Because what we're already constituting as front court and backcourt players is asinine. Like, DeMar DeRozan hasn't been a guard since he was in Toronto, and yet he's in the guards voting every year. So the NBA doesn't even know what players play what position. Why are we doing this anyway? You see what happens. Tatum, Giannis, and KD all happen to be in that Eastern Conference front court. Like, you could have had Tatum be a backcourt guy. I mean, he plays on the perimeter, basically a shooting guard. Might as well be. I think it would be really easy for the NBA to do something like that, just to make a quick switch like that and anticipate this situation, because it was obviously going to happen. So I think they totally dropped the ball on that. Like, I guess if we could have our custom Eastern Conference starters, it would be this for me. As for the West, a lot of chatter about Zion Williamson. You know, it should have been Sabonis. I'm seeing a lot of people see. Some people even said Lauri Markkanen. I wouldn't go that far. Sabonis is a great pick. And personally, I would have picked Sabonis. Just talking about the games played, it's very important. A lot of guys aren't going to be present every night for whatever reason. If they're injury prone or if they just don't care enough to suit up every single night, they have to take games off. Domantas Sabonis is playing through like a broken finger or a fractured finger. And he's out there every night, and he's got the Sacramento Kings in the 3 seed, which is one of the most unlikely positions for any team right now. Maybe the most unlikely. I don't think anybody could have predicted that. So if we're talking about who really should have been where, as far as the best players in the NBA this season, these are my all-star starters. I can't say that I care enough to really get up in arms about it. Just more so like it's an NBA thing. It's the NBA's problem. The way that you guys do this. Still letting players vote on stuff when you know they don't take it seriously. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. And this is reason alone by itself for us to not have player voting anymore. Why do we need this? Players want